Hello. I've been doing our like Sunday day things. We have some trunk or treat to go to later today, but I figured I would make some recipes. Should I meal plan? I don't know, but I did plan to make some recipes for the week. A little meal prep, if you will. So that's what I'm going to do. And I do have some rice to cook for one of the recipes. These are like some of my tried and true recipes because I just want some easy things to eat. I haven't been eating well. I feel like that's the theme of my life. It's like ebbs and flows, you know? Some days, weeks, months, I'm more aware of like my protein intake and how much. The past few days, let me show you what I've been eating for breakfast. This, while delicious, probably not the best choice, right? But also, don't get me wrong, because I will be making some treats in this video. I found a recipe. I took a picture of it. It was in a magazine, and the magazine, by the way, was like $16, $15.99, or maybe $14.99. Regardless, I didn't buy it. I thought that was absolutely insane. It was one of those like Christmas bake with me, I don't know, something. And I figured all the recipes that are in the magazine are online anyway, so I just took a snapshot of it. Is that legal? Don't sue me. So I'm gonna make that and then some healthier recipes too. Chicken lasagna, which is like my favorite. I don't make it very often. Also chicken curry soup, something like, it's so hearty. Don't let the soup, it's more of a like thicker, heartier. It's so filling and so delicious and so easy. Listen, all the recipes, check off all my boxes. You guys know how I am. And then a crock pot meal as well. Simply is not enough rice. I need 2 cups of cooked rice. I guess I should not be lazy and go get some rice and fill up my container, but I don't want to. Well, I don't know how this happens. Someone can squeeze me right in the gullet. I have no rice. I have no rice. This is all I have. So this is going to have to be enough. I'm just so hungry. I need to make something ASAP. I actually have something in the oven, which I will show you as well. So plenty of recipes to share. And then I also have stuff to get done around the house. And then the trunk or treat. Did I tell you about that? I don't know what's going on. I do need to change though, so I'll be right back. Okay, well the kids are playing and they're calm, so I'm not about to go and interrupt that. They're in my room where I would obviously get dressed. Actually, I probably have enough clothes in my laundry. There's a fly in here that's gonna drive me nuts. Yesterday we had some people over, so the doors were all open, and I feel like those like large flies, right when we're getting rid of the fruit flies, the frig mamma jammas come on in. Don't worry, I don't know what I just said there either. I really do kind of feel like I'm losing it, but hopefully getting some meals prepped and ready to go for the week will help me feel a little better about life. Make me feel a little more put together. It'll make our bellies full at least. That is my hope. So the first one I'm gonna put together is the curry soup. I'm making the rice right now. You need 2 cups of rice. You can use minute rice or whatever. Clearly I don't have any rice to use. And I might double this recipe. I'm debating in my head. I'm pretty sure I'm going to double it. So you need, you know, your basic soup ingredients. You've got carrots, you've got celery. I am gonna wash these, don't worry. Celery is like, it's so dirty. I'm gonna do this whole thing. And I'm going to keep these, what do they call these? The celery fronds. Man, those have so much flavor in them. So definitely keeping those in. I did run to Aldi to get some of these ingredients. You know what, they didn't have basil, and I probably should have thrown the crock pot meal together first, but whatever, it's fine, I'll do that next, maybe, who knows. Oh man, you know what I wanted to do? I was so hungry. Well, at Aldi, I added to the list, but then when I got home, I completely forgot. I dropped Eleanor off at dance, and then it's a short amount of time, so I was like, oh, okay, I'll just hang around, whatever. Normally, I'd head into the Max or something. What was I talking about? Oh, I was hungry, so I was like, oh yeah, let me make some sandwiches when I get home. No, I didn't make that at all. I still want, I've been wanting a sandwich so bad. All right, let me wash these. The curry soup is really simple, by the way, and don't let that weird you out, because for years I let it weird me out, like, oh, curry soup, that's so different, and I don't know if I would like that. You're gonna love it. That's how good it is. You know, I keep wondering, like, man, I just feel like I don't want to do anything right now. What's going on? I guess we have had kind of a busier weekend. I mean, every weekend is, you know how it is. There's always a million things going on. We went to a trunk or treat on Friday, Saturday, I felt like it was low-key, and it kind of was, but also we had, you know, sports games and activities and dance and soccer. Both Wentworth and Avelina, they lost. So sad. And then Avelina had homecoming, so I was taking pictures of her, and it was just so lovely. And I got no housework done at all. And last night, I think, why is this onion so hard to peel? Last night, what? Oh, last night I made sourdough. Last night, what was I gonna say? Couldn't tell you. Something about Hocus Pocus. I definitely want to watch Hocus Pocus. You know what I want to do before that? Cook the chicken. I usually have cooked chicken for this, but whatever. I'm gonna cook it before, and while the chicken's cooking, then I'll cut up my veggies. What was I gonna say? What happened last night? Last Christmas, I gave you my heart. My roses are dying. Oh, that's right, for dinner. I was going over my head. I was like, I don't know what I was about to say to you, and then I was almost gonna tell you a story about how our friend came over and brought us a cake, like a legit bakery cake, and that was delicious. But then I was thinking, that definitely isn't what I was going to tell you. Oh, now I forgot it again. I should have just told you. Last night, I don't know. Last night what? I just remembered it. Cinnamon rolls, smelling cinnamon. It's not about Hocus Pocus. I'm losing my mind. Oh, dinner was the worst. It was actually delicious, but it was the worst. I got chicken wings that I had recently gotten from Costco and cooked them up with some French fries. Easy, simple. Buffalo wings, by the way, not a normal chicken wing. It came with some sauce. It was so good, but also so simple, and also probably zero nutrition. All I could think of was like, is protein, right? I don't know. I saved money, we didn't eat out, and I cleared out my freezer. Tons of wins about this, but also probably not the best meal. But sometimes you just gotta do what you can. Everybody has those days. Now that that's out of the way, I'm going to start on this curry soup. And typically you would have like cooked chicken for this to add at the end, but I'm just going to add it in, cook it, you know? Pros and cons to everything, but a home-cooked meal is always what's best. I diced up the chicken, and I'm going to season it just with some salt and pepper here, really simple. Oh my gosh, I forgot a whole chicken thigh over here. I'm gonna throw it in a pot. I've got some oil heating up over here. Not much of a sizzle there, but while that cooks, I'm going to dice up the veggies. I've got an onion. Perfect. And then I've got a celery heart over here. I am going to cut the ends off. Scrap those.
Mom, why are you making that?
I let it cook in the oil for a few minutes, and it gets brown on one side, and then I just toss it. And then I'm going to dice up the carrots. Chicken is done. I did add some more oil, and I'm pretty sure that's like drippings from the chicken, because once it gets a little brown, I turn the heat down. It's cooked to absolute perfection, and I'm going to reserve the chicken just in a bowl until we throw it in when it's almost done. And I'm just gonna throw my veggies in this pot and let these cook for about 5 minutes. And of course we have to season every layer, so I'm gonna take some salt and pepper and season my veggies as well. Generous amount, a lot of veggies in there. Give that a mix and then just let them cook up. I like to throw a cap on it because why not? I feel like it makes it go a little faster. I'm gonna add like half a stick of butter and let that melt. I added some oil in the beginning, so I feel like that would be good. I'm gonna make a roux. I should have cut that. I'm gonna sprinkle on 3/4 cup of flour. It might seem like a lot. I feel like it is a lot, but also the soup is really thick, and that's one reason why I like it so much. So I'm just gonna stir it in until that flavor is all dissolved and that flavor is cooked out, maybe like 30 seconds. Oh my gosh, it's actually never been opened. 2 teaspoons of curry powder, and I actually go a little heavy-handed on that because is that like the only seasoning we're adding? I might add a little bit more salt and pepper to this as well, but it's a great flavor, really simple. There's no skill involved at all. You don't have to go out and get the, what's the stuff in the jar? When I make curry, I usually have, what's that, like curry paste. That's really good too. Hey, so I totally spaced. I must not have recorded what I added to the rest of the soup. So it was 2 cans of evaporated milk and then 4 cups of chicken broth and then the curry. I'm pretty sure I added myself putting that in, but that's it. Super simple, really easy, and it's got a nice bubble going on. As it's bubbling, I'm going to add 2 cups of the rice. And I just put this on a plate to try to get it to cool off a little bit in the fridge, but it's really only been like, I don't know, 5 minutes. That feels like 2 cups to me. I'll save the rest in case the kids want to eat it with like seaweed or whatever. And then I'm going to add the chicken in there and mix everything together and let it simmer for, I don't know, 5 minutes. Depends on how many minutes you have until dinner time. For me, I've got plenty. But also if you're going to heat this back up, if you're making it ahead of time, in my head I'm thinking, okay, take it off right away. Let it cool down, because when you reheat it back up, it's going to get heated through again, you know what I mean? And you don't want everything to become mushy. Although I will tell you, the leftovers to this are amazing. But here it is. The lighting isn't doing it justice. It looks like a different color in real life. It looks better, I promise. We're just gonna plate it up a little bit. And you know what else I just realized is I forgot to get cilantro from Aldi. I'm pretty sure they didn't have any. Listen, I went into Aldi with a list of like, I don't know, 6 things to get. They probably had 3 of the things on my list. It would look better with some greenery around it. Cilantro is always a plus, if you ask me. But this soup is always a win as well. So delicious, so hearty, so filling, so, all the things. Try it out. I think you're going to enjoy it if you like that curry flavor. It's not too overpowering, not spicy at all, just really great flavor. I believe the flies have doubled. I don't know what the heck is happening. You know what Aldi did have? Tomatoes. But it calls for diced tomatoes with herbs or something like that. So whatever, we can add our own herbs. So this is the crock pot meal. It is slow cooker. Do you call it crock pot or slow cooker? I guess crock pot is the brand name, so that makes sense. But it's like calling a tissue a Kleenex or a Q-tip a Q-tip. Oh, something's in my eye, probably one of the flies. Same with like Tupperware. Do you call it Tupperware or do you call it like containers? Oh, what's in my eye? Okay, so I'm gonna dump in, oh, just kidding, I'm gonna wash the crock pot. Like, who washed that? Do you see? It's probably me. Okay, better. Not great, but better. So into the crock pot, I gathered a few ingredients, and the majority of these ingredients I had on hand. So I think this would be a really great one to put together. Easy weeknight meal, and even if you don't have the ingredients, because like, I don't, you just make it work with whatever else you have. I also love teenagers, like they make their own lunch or snack or whatever, and then use like a 1/4 cup of the sauce. I'm like, this jar costs more than your life, okay, kid? So along with the diced tomatoes, I'm going to add 1 cup of marinara sauce. Yeah, that's splashing everywhere. Also 3 cloves of garlic, but I'm gonna use this much. And I'm just gonna finely dice it over here. Okay, I'm gonna dump in about 1/2 cup of garlic there. It's gonna add a lot of flavor. Then I've got a little salt, a little pepper, a little Italian seasoning. This is probably like 5 years old at this point, but it's still good. I'm gonna add a little more because I don't have basil. I'm also gonna add 1/2 cup of heavy whipping cream, along with 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. You're supposed to mix this together. How about 1 more? With the heavy whipping cream, but listen, I'm not gonna dirty a bowl if I don't have to, you know? I'm gonna mix all of this together, and then I'm gonna throw in some chicken thighs. 2, 3, 4. Make sure they're totally coated in the sauce, and then I'm gonna cook this. I'm gonna cook it on low. I feel like chicken cooks pretty fast in the crock pot. It's really easy to overcook it. Chicken thighs, it's a little better because, you know, it's hard to overcook them. They stay nice and juicy. I'm gonna cover this and cook it for just a few hours. Hey, I didn't get a final reveal on this, but this was at the end of the day and we didn't eat it yet. So when we do end up eating it, I will just cook up. I have some tortellini. You can throw it over pasta, over rice, over potatoes. Ooh, I feel like potatoes would be really good. But the sauce is magnificent, magnifique, if you will. Been reading a little bit of Fancy Nancy too much. I just shred the chicken. As you can tell, it's basically falling apart as I touch it. And I think this is going to be a really great meal, really well received. I did test the sauce and it was amazing. So if you're worried or not, if your kids are going to love it, this was a little, I wouldn't say spicy, but very flavorful because I did add a lot of spices, but that's how I roll. So you can always add a little bit less if that's your flavor as well. I'm looking through my recipe book. That's what I'm thinking of, chicken Alfredo stuffed shells. I don't think I've ever made the chicken lasagna, white chicken lasagna. I mean, I've made one before, but I thought I had a recipe printed out. It's on the app. It's a macro-friendly foods recipe. But for me, I just much prefer looking at a sheet of lasagna soup. I really need to organize these, but I never will. I don't think I ever will. It was enough for me to like get the binder. The plan was to organize them by like slow cooker recipes and soups and dinners and lunches and desserts and whatever else, breakfast, I don't know. And I tried to, side dishes, and then salads. It's too much. It's too much. I don't keep up with it and I don't do it. Also, my phone shuts off like every 30 seconds. I know that's a setting, but I just passed the lasagna, but that was buffalo. Well, I guess I'll have to, unless it's in here. I got a huge stack of ones I haven't even put in laminator sheets. Whatever, I'll look on my phone. So that's the next one. White lasagna. I don't know, white chicken lasagna. Oh, lasagna with a white sauce. Okay, well, in my head, I thought I was going to use the cooked chicken that I normally get from Costco, but I also haven't been buying it because I'm like, oh, Kim, you can just cook chicken. You know who the worst version of me is? The one who goes grocery shopping. That's a worst version of me. Oh no, okay, don't buy that. You can make it. But will I? And also in the bakery section, I'm like, yeah, get the brownies, get the donuts. It's the worst on both fronts. Okay, I'm gonna gather what I need. Short story long, I don't have any cooked chicken. Calls for cooked chicken, so I'm gonna have to make some cooked chicken. And good thing I had the forethought to pull out a whole other pack of chicken in there. So that's what I'm gonna do. It's actually really easy. And then I'm going to make like you can call it a bechamel sauce if you wish. But if you don't wish, you can also use, oh, did I not buy it? I found this at Aldi and I was like, oh, bet. But also, this was $7.44. I couldn't believe it. And every time I come across this at Costco, I'm like, well, you should grab it. And then I'm like, you never use it. Whenever you make it from scratch. Oh, I'm the worst. I also don't think I have any more chicken. Oh wait, I do. I think I have a homemade chicken stock. Fingers crossed. I've been trying to clean my freezer out and I feel like I saw some out there. I hope. Who's amazing and has 2 thumbs? It's homemade chicken stock. Also, how long has it been since I made this? Probably too long. I think they're 2-cup portions, so I'm gonna take a couple of these blocks out and throw it in the microwave. Okay, things are really looking up. I'm looking at the recipe. You know what I forgot? Oh wait, I didn't add it on purpose. Spinach, because I have spinach. Okay, it's coming along. I really do think I'm kind of losing my head more than normal lately. Oh, I only need 2 cups. Okay, this is actually gonna be great. What a beautiful sight. I'm gonna thaw this out. I forgot I needed to cook the chicken, so I just cut it up and same as before, I'm just gonna season it with some salt and pepper and cook it in some oil. I feel like ground chicken would be a good idea here and throw it in the sauce like we would with like a red sauce, you know, and a beef. I'm also going to cut up 1 onion and then I have some butter here too. Oh, and I'm gonna mince up some garlic, probably like that much. Not that piece though, that's weird. This one's iffy too. I have to set up the smoke detector. Oh my gosh, hold on, let me turn Russell off. He copyrighted me the other day. I start this vent fan. Smoke detector's gonna go off. I forgot that I put oil to heat it up to put on my chicken and then I just got busy jamming out and dealing with other things, you know, life. I turned around, it's like, whoosh. Right, we're definitely gonna get a sizzle out of this. This is cooked enough. I'm going to reserve this as well. To the pot, I have the drippings and the rest of the oil that's in there, but I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of butter, let that melt. And then we're gonna let the onions cook in that butter for a few minutes. While that's cooking, this came out of the microwave and I got 2 blocks of them, which in my mind I thought were 2-cup blocks. Maybe they weren't filled up right all the way, but this is, hold on, this is 2 cups. Wait, is it 2 cups? Yeah, it's just over 2 cups, so maybe 1 cup each? That doesn't make any sense, but also probably. I'm just gonna give it a little chef's taste test. Oh my gosh, I forgot how good my homemade broth is. I should probably make it more often. Okay, so this is ready to go. I'm gonna toss in the half a cup of garlic here too, just to let that cook in. That is fragrant almost immediately. It smells so good. The onions are getting really soft and translucent. So I'm going to add half a cup of flour and then mix this in and cook it just for, you know, a minute or two until the flour is golden brown. Now I'm gonna mix in the 2 cups of broth along with, it's getting kind of clunky in there, 2 cups of milk. Oh my gosh, hold on. Did that just crack? I heard a little crackle and a pop. Oh gosh, okay, 2 cups of this, go in. Mix this together. A little salt and pepper, let it come up to a bubble, get nice and thick. Yeah, I did crack it, do you see it? I don't know if you can see it. Right here and then down the middle. Oh, this is my favorite one. Also going to cut up a good handful of spinach here. Oh, I smell a bad piece in here. Ooh, I smell a couple bad pieces in here. That's not good. One bad piece will ruin the spinach lot. I'm just gonna cut this really small. So for the cheese filling, I got a couple of these containers of ricotta cheese. Oh my gosh, of course the tab would do that. I'm gonna plop them in, and I'm using 2 containers. This bowl is not big enough. This is better, I hope? Okay, 2 containers. I feel like you can never have enough cheese. Oh my gosh, this tab too. Plop those in, along with 2 eggs, along with some Italian seasoning, and, oh, hold on, let me break these eggs up a little bit here. A generous handful and a half of mozzarella cheese. Freshly shredded, of course. And I do have some Parmesan cheese that I should probably shred. Oh, I'm just not feeling like it. I'm doing this for you. I don't want to do this for me. I don't even like cheese. Is that enough? No. But that's all I'm gonna do. And it's good enough. Okay, give everything a mix. I am so happy to report that this 1 strip of noodle covers the entire dish. I won't be having to like break noodles to pieces. This makes me so happy. So I'm going to start my layers, but first to the sauce, I am going to add the spinach and just mix that in. It has a nice color. Spinach doesn't have a lot of flavor, but it does have a lot of nutrients. So I'm going to take a ladle of the sauce and just spread it out. Then layer noodles on top of this. Cheese mixture next. And then on top of the cheese mixture, I'm throwing the cooked cut up chicken. And then on top of that, I'm going to put the sauce and then continue those layers. So noodles, cheese, chicken, sauce. What always snags me up is the ending. How do I end this thing? Is what I always say to myself. How do I end this? So I just put noodles, the cheese that I had left over, the cheese mixture, and then more cheese on top, like the mozzarella cheese, but the top noodles might be a little dry. It's okay. I cover it with foil, cook it in the oven. I did like 350 for 45 minutes, took the foil off, cook it for another 15 minutes. I just cooked mine for 40 minutes and then I put it in the fridge because I'm going to eat it in a couple of days. That's what the meal prep is all about. And what Rachel Ray used to have, a cooking show. What was it called? Week in a Day with Rachel Ray. Man, I miss her. Actually, I miss her a lot. And I really miss the good old days, if you will, when I would get home from school, turn on Food Network, and she would be cooking 30-minute meals, like old school version, teaching us how to cook. Literally taught me how to cut an onion. Like, she taught me everything I know, all right? She and Julia Child back in Cordon Bleu when I went there. I could talk about her for literally hours, how Food Network used to be, and I wish I had Food Network. None of my streaming services offer it, so I'm just over here in the dark. I go on YouTube and try to look for shows. It's like Sandra Lee, whatever, but sometimes I find it. Anyway, that's the whole thing. I put it in my fridge, and then when I'm ready to cook it, I will take the foil off. Well, I may leave the foil on for like 10 minutes just to get everything heated through, and then take the foil off another 10-15 minutes, let the, cheese come to a bubble up top, nice and golden brown, and then I can sprinkle it with a little bit of parsley on top if you want to be festive about it. I personally think parsley tastes like grass, so lawn clippings it is for me. It does make it look more presentable, but that's the whole idea behind cooking one day and then saving a few recipes for the following days. You can also throw it in the freezer as well. That's a great option. She does a lot of that, and I just don't think it's necessary because we're going to eat it eventually, like sooner than I would need to put it in the freezer, you know? So anyway, I had high hopes for this. I do share a couple more recipes with you, so don't worry. I had a lot of high hopes for this video. I thought, yeah, I'm going to get so much done. My days are, I don't even know what happens. Where does the day go? I feel like I do 1.5 million things, and at the end of the day, I sit down and I just think, wow, I didn't get half as much done as I wanted to / thought I was going to. So I just feel like time goes by so fast. Where does it go? I need more time in my day. Simply, I do. So we did end up going to the trunk or treat. I filmed a little bit of that. I actually just realized I didn't cut the clips or anything. So I'm going to have to do that before I do the voiceover. But there were some really great trunks. If you've been to a trunk or treat lately, some people are so creative, you guys. We saw a Toy Story Mania dupe with blasters, like Nerf blasters, you know? So I just thought that was so creative. I've never seen that before, not online or anything, but also I'm not over here like searching for trunk or treat ideas, like trunk ideas, you know, to decorate. But there were a lot of amazing ones, and I did take footage of just a few. It started raining while we were there, so it was a whole experience, but we were just walking around in the rain. Everyone else was under shelter, and we were like, it's really not that bad. And so we just continued to walk. The lines got lower, and we were like, yeah, you know what? It's working out pretty okay for us. So, and it was, you know, if it started to get like bad rain, we would have gone under shelter. Don't worry. The kids were fine. They were eager to go around. But that's what this season's all about, you know, just having a good old time walking around in the rain. It cooled us down, honestly. And once the rain stopped, and then it got really muggy, and we were like, time to go. It got bounce houses galore. I was like, yeah, it's so wet in there. Everyone was wet. And you know what? They had a good time, and that's what it's all about. So I'm tidying up the kitchen after my meal prep. I didn't get to the almond cookies. I will tell you that. So that's something to look forward to in the future. I really thought, you know what? I'll make those with the kids, with the girls when we get home. But we ended up just hanging out in Eleanor's room, and she was packing for a trip that she's taking this week. And so we were just like going over a packing list and talking, and we got, you know, so instead of doing cookies, we did spend time together, but it was just doing something else, just chit-chatting away and having a good time. Those are like some of the best times, right? So I didn't want to just make the recipe just to make it. I don't know. A lot of thoughts and feelings. I do want to make the recipe, and I might make the recipe, but also today I feel like I really need to focus on cleaning my house. So, you know, I'll see what I get to. I say that because we're having a few people over tonight, and I want to make a board, like put a board together. But the reason I was making the cookies is to throw them in the oven. And not the oven, obviously. You throw them in the oven to cook them. The freezer. You throw them in the freezer. You form them into balls, do a little flash freeze. And then once you throw them on a sheet pan in balls, throw them in the freezer to flash freeze them maybe like 15, 30 minutes. And then once they're pretty frozen, you throw them in a Ziploc bag. And you guys, that is my favorite way to make our favorite cookies and have them ready to go. Whenever, you know, we have people last minute, I'm like, oh, do you guys want a dessert? Boom. I can take them straight from the freezer, throw them into my oven, and it is like the perfect, I know you don't need cookies, but also, yeah, you need cookies at the end of the day. You know, I don't know anyone who doesn't want a little sweet treat at the end of the day. I'm trying to think, like, are those people out there? Do they exist? I guess those people who are more savory than sweet, but I'll take them both. I'm savory and sweet. I like it all. So anyway, what I'm getting at is, short story long, if I knew that this was going to be a proper meal prep, more food than, you know, just around the house style, I don't know, maybe I would have picked out different recipes, but also I feel like this is just the way the cookie crumbled, no pun intended, and, you know, things worked out the way that they should. And I just, at the end of the day, I'm sharing my day with you, and I hope that you enjoy it and, you know, get some time hanging out with a friend. I don't know, get some stuff done while I'm also getting some stuff done. So I do feel like we made some amazing recipes together, and they are some of my favorites. We're not done yet. Like, there's still 2 more recipes. I still have a lot to share with you, and we are gonna go to the trunk or treat. That'll probably be like a minute of me showing you the trunks and stuff, but really good times. Let me know your favorite meal prep recipe. There are so many out there, and really any recipe you can meal prep. And that's the thing, when I look up meal prep recipes, I'm like, literally, this is just dinner. It's just dinner. And sometimes I used to take whatever dinner I was making and then double it. And I could freeze that, because who wants to eat the same thing like night after night after night? I mean, I do sometimes, but especially if it's really good. You can make the same thing and then throw it in the freezer. A lot of times you can literally freeze like almost anything, okay? And it's going to be delicious. Even pasta, I saw someone the other day, undercook it a little bit was what I was going to say. Undercook it because you still have to heat it back up before you eat it. But I saw someone the other day freeze rice, like in individual portions. And then when her kids wanted rice, she popped it out. She put it in parchment paper. I was like, that is genius. I've never seen someone do that before. Getting dressed to go to the trunk or treat. I feel like everyone's already outside. Wait, is this right? The other day I wore this costume. I was volunteering at the kids' school for like a Halloween thing. So I was like, I want to dress up or whatever. We also went to a trunk or treat that day, and I forgot to wear my earrings, and I feel like this just makes the outfit. I have a witch hat, like a hat headband, and I don't know where it is. I don't know where I left it. But when we went to the trunk or treat the other day, they had some really good trunk or treats. One was Costco, which I'm sure you may have seen online, where they like set up a sample station and you get a candy as a sample. Really cute idea. So I'm gonna head to this one with everybody as soon as I find my hat. But I do have my witch socks on. Okay, a couple of trunk or treats. This one was so fun. I forgot what this was called, what she named this, but it was so fun. She had like a laboratory, I suppose, and the buckets said fingers, and you were supposed to like reach your hand inside and touch the fingers, and they were hot dogs. And then she also had eyeballs, and she had a couple on the other side. And I just thought, oh my gosh, this is so creative, so fun, something I've never seen before, and it's interactive. A lot of these were interactive. They had games galore. And man, I wish I got footage of more than I did. This was when it started raining, essentially right when we got there. So that was fun. The Twister one, and then also a Chick-fil-A one. Eat more candy is what it said. They were dressed up in cows. Sorry, this is like professional filming 101. And I didn't cut these things out. I was bending down to talk to Wolfgang about, he was trying to say something. Eat more chicken is what the sign said. Chick-fil-A, I just thought that was so darling. What a great booth that was, or trunk, I suppose. And this one had Bo Peep and Woody, and Woody's Roundup or whatever it's called. What's that ride at Disney, And this one was a Lion's Den, but I just thought, like the amount of effort it takes to set this up and think about it and put it all together. I just really appreciated like every single trunk that we passed. They had an entire row of, what's that one with like, oh gosh, what's that one movie that's really popular? Harry Potter. They had a bunch of Harry Potter ones. They had several pirate ones, so that was really fun for Wolfgang, especially because he was dressed as a pirate. We just had his pirate costume, and we were like, you want to be a pirate, dude? And he's like, yeah! So I just ran with it. We didn't do family costumes this year. We just kind of like hodgepodge. Like Eleanor was a ladybug, but she's actually going to be the Lorax with one of her friends. And so whenever we needed a costume, I can't remember what she was at the other trunk or treat, but she just threw something on. I think we had M&Ms. Evelina was that for, a second. So we had a good time. Moral of the story. I'm making cinnamon sourdough focaccia. Something of the sort. So let me look up the recipe so I can share it with you. Oh goodness. It starts out, no such thing as too much cinnamon and sugar, and girl. Okay. So it starts off with the bubbly active starter, 100 grams of that, 400 grams of water, mix that, add 30 grams of olive oil, 12 grams of salt, and then 500 grams of bread flour. And I get this enormous bag from Costco. Otherwise, Thrive Market has a pretty good price on it. And then you let that sit for 30 minutes, do stretch and folds 4 times over. I was also making 2 loaves of sourdough bread, but I always like to switch it up. I always have some starter left over. So I was like, you know what? Let me try this recipe, give it a go. My friend posted about it, and I was like, you know what? Okay. So for the cinnamon sugar mixture, I have half a cup of melted butter, it says a quarter cup of sugar, but then she says in the description 1/3 cup sugar. So I don't know, do whatever you want. And then a couple tablespoons of cinnamon, mix that together. And then once all of your stretch and folds are done, you guys, this was like midnight for me. I came in the kitchen and we'll make sure it's thoroughly mixed together, apparently. I came in the kitchen, and this is what the bread looks like after all of my stretch and folds. In the beginning, it looks like shaggy dough, and it really develops over time once you do the stretch and folds. That gluten really develops in the sourdough and all that good stuff. So I'm greased a pan. This is what I'm going to bake it in, and I plopped in my dough, and I guess you're supposed to do, I don't know if you're supposed to wait 30 minutes after your stretch and folds. I'm not really sure, but it says to like fold in the melted butter, cinnamon, sugar mixture. Like what? And P.S. this isn't all of it. So it got really messy, and my dough wasn't really stretching very well, like the video. And I was like, I don't know about that. Sorry, I was very, very skeptical. All right. So I tried my best to, it was just a big old mess. It was just getting everywhere. I was like, is this necessary? Well, I don't know. Even now looking at it, I'm like, is this necessary? I tried to make layers. It wasn't working out. So I did the best that I could. Listen, I'm not a professional bread maker. And I will say every time I make something like this, other than sourdough bread, I'm always like, it's okay, whatever. This one has a ton of butter, so it actually tasted amazing. So if you're looking for something like this, I think it's a really great thing. But I put this in my fridge overnight, and in the morning, oh, those are my sourdough breads, by the way. In the morning, I took it out of the fridge, and you're supposed to let it sit for like 3 to 6 hours on your countertop, because obviously it's cold. You're not going to be able to like stretch it out. So let it rise again on your countertop. When we came back from doing some stuff as a family, this was my bread, by the way. I cooked this in the morning. Right when I wake up, I throw it in because I let it rise overnight. And when I wake up, I throw it in the fridge for an hour, and then I cook it. I've shared my sourdough recipe with you guys before, and like the technique and everything I do. It's very basic. I just don't overcomplicate it. Okay. And if you're wondering if we add more butter, one more stick of butter, melt that, and add even more cinnamon and sugar. It also says 1/4 more cup of cinnamon, but then I think in the description, she has 1/3 cup, unless I'm blind. I'm pretty sure that says, I am blind, but 1/3 cup, that's wild nonsense. Do whatever you want. I think I did a 1/4 cup. Add some more cinnamon in there because that gives it all the flavor that we want. Those fall flavors, delicious holiday flavor. I love cinnamon, can't get enough of it. So this was when my dough was ready to be like focaccia'd. Is that a verb? It's not. You're just supposed to like, boop, put your fingers in it. I got my hands wet, so it wasn't going to stick to me. But here's the thing. The bottom of the pan was caked with that butter, cinnamon, and sugar. I was like, that's just going to bake on the bottom. What are we going to do with this? Then I tried to like fold it in because I didn't want it to go to waste. And in the video, hers was like all folded. I messed it up, okay? Is what happened. I just started scraping the bottoms off and trying to fold it in with all my might. But, this just goes to show you, it doesn't matter what you do, it's still going to come out perfectly fine because mine came out perfectly fine. Even though I messed all of this up and did whatever the heck I wanted to, I didn't add the right amount of sugar, probably, or cinnamon. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And that's the point. It doesn't matter. It's still going to come out. And I just threw that over. I was like, I'm going to let it rise a little bit because it wasn't stretching very much. And then I took the second dose of this mixture, poured it right over top. It's supposed to be more dimply and more bubbly and more, listen, the video she posted was perfection. Mine was like what not to do. But anyway, I threw it in my oven for 350 degrees for, let me see here. No, 375 degrees for 40 minutes with foil for the first 20 minutes, then remove the foil and bake uncovered for another 20 minutes. And this is what it looked like when it was all done. Pools of that butter, cinnamon, sugar. Oh, it's so delicious. Eat it warm. That is my suggestion. And you got a nice little, some people would call that breakfast. I would call it, breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert, all of the things, whatever you want to eat it with, okay? And hey, guess what? I did end up making the sandwich. I actually just made it. And I thought, let me just film it because I'm going to make it anyway. So cutting up some lettuce. For the dressing, I do a little bit of mayonnaise. I don't measure anything. That's probably like a 1/4 cup. Add a heaping tablespoon, whatever, of red wine vinegar. A little bit of spices. I've got garlic. You're supposed to add salt and pepper. I totally forgot. And then a little bit of Italian seasoning in there. You can just do oregano if you're into that. And I throw some shredded lettuce into the bowl. I'm also dicing up some red onion because I like all of these flavors. If you don't like certain flavors like this is like the viral grinder recipe. I'm just going off memory. I'm going off vibes. I'm going off what feels right because it's just food and it'll be fine, right? As long as it's flavors that you like, I think it's all going to turn out okay. So I had some banana peppers. I cut those up, mixed everything all together in the dressing, and I started assembling the sliders. And I have to, I'm sure people have brought this up. The sliders, do they come pre-sliced? Is that like one step? Would they fall apart if they're pre-sliced? Would they start to get dry? Like what's a thing with them not pre-slicing it? Is that their challenge for us? Oh, like we'll make the bread and use probably because most people use them as dinner rolls. And I think you're supposed to put them in the oven before you like eat them as dinner rolls, you know? It'll make them taste 100 times better, but that's probably why. I think that's why. So anyway, I layered on some salami, cheese. Well, I did cheese, salami, ham, and then the mixture of the lettuce. So super simple, super delicious. And it did kind of satisfy my sandwich craving, but also not really. Not really, Josie, because I still want a good old sandwich. I don't know what it is. Like, it was okay. But it wasn't, when you go to a sandwich shop, it just hits different. And I don't know why. Couldn't tell you the psychology behind it. When food is made for you, it always tastes better when you don't have to make it. But that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching and hanging out with me. If you want to save those for meal prep, because that's what we did most of the video, pop them back in the bag and eat a little bit at a time. Okay? That's what it's all about. It's so good, so delicious. Take those on the go. And I hope you guys enjoyed hanging out with me. If you did, subscribe, put a little happy in your day, and I will see you next time.